like you do lights. Got that from that since I've been here last night.
I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. So I declare with my word that this is a safe place to know God, because we're here, and we're here to absorb the teachings of the science of mind teaching, in order that we may have our own experience of the divine. Because in my mind, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for, to know God. So I invite you to join me in releasing this invocation into law by saying, so it is. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton. I'm John Herron. I'm the spiritual director of this center. And we are a loving, healing, and inclusive community which teaches and practices the principles of the science of mind for the well-being and spiritual growth of ourselves and the world. And we invite you to be part of our community. We are here for that one thing which Rich mentioned. We're here to learn how to grow spiritually, how to live in the world as spiritual beings. And so today we have the assistance of Michelle Wadleigh, who is going to help us do that. She's going to speak on this wonderful book, Your Invisible Power, and all the things involved with that. And just to let you know, I will be teaching a class on that book in August, and all the details will come out later. That will be a class Wednesdays at 1 p.m., 90-minute class for 4 weeks. Next week, I'm the speaker. I'm going to continue my talk on the World Healing Meditation that we started last week. It'll be a real opportunity to focus yourself in meditation, because that meditation is quite beautiful and has some wonderful thoughts in it, and also talks about the basic principles of our teaching. And so I'm going to continue talking about that. The week after that, I believe it's the first week of the month. And the first week of the month, we do a Zoom teaching. I don't have the name of the person who's going to speak, but we have somebody really exciting who's never spoken for us, a minister from California. I don't have her name in front of me, as I said. And the week after that, Reverend Karen Kushner will be back with us. So we really welcome you to become part of our family, because this family is, our connection is that one thing. We all want to learn how to grow, open up our consciousness, and use the teaching of the science of mind to help us do that. So thank you so much.
I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts, let spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's really true and free, as I continue walking in this mystery. There may be walls, there may be roadblocks in my way. I can choose to take a higher path each day. And now I know that what I thought was safe and sound was only habit and regret that held me down. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am grateful every moment, every day. And I am kinder every moment, every day.
Good morning. My name is Torres, and I'm a licensed practitioner here at the center. And people that are familiar with me know that I like to tell stories based on one or another tradition. We carry on a lot of, in a sense, different traditions, but at the center of them are some of the same ideas, regardless of where they come from or who originated them. Usually I've been doing lately stories out of sometimes Christian traditions, sometimes Muslim, sometimes Buddhist, whatever. Today I'm going to be a little bit different and do an old folk tale from Hindu mythology. And this is from the days before Buddha, and the old Hindu religion, if you will, is in effect. And the story goes something like this. There was a sage living in India who thought he knew everything. You know how sages are, right? They know everything. They're just wonderful people, and they don't have to think about anything normal people think of. They don't have to do anything the way normal people do it. Anyway, this guy is up in the jungle, and he's meditating in a very large clearing surrounded by jungle, and there's one tree in the clearing, and he's sitting right next to it, and he notices a tiger entering the clearing from the other side. And he says, "This looks like trouble." And the tiger kind of looks like he doesn't know what he's doing for a little while, but then he realizes that the sage is there, and he wants a meal. So he starts advancing toward the sage, and the sage, who's been fasting for weeks and is light as a feather, climbs up into the very, very top branches of the tree, where he's so light that he can do that. The tiger can't get anywhere near him because he's too heavy, too big, and the tiger sits on the ground and is wandering around the tree and is growling at him, and he calls upon Vishnu to come and save him. And in his imagination, the sage thinks of Vishnu as living in his material home, which is in the Kshetrasagar, the milk ocean, the milk sea, which we would call the Milky Way, in the middle of the Milky Way. And it's going to take a little while for Vishnu to get to him. Well, Vishnu hears his plea and starts coming toward him at the speed of light, a little bit of modern physics thrown in here. It's still going to take a while. And he eventually arrives at in the Himalayas and zooms through the ocean to where this sage is, at this point, in the top branches of the tree, frightened to death, worried about this tiger, and anyway, the moment Vishnu appears, the tiger takes one look at him and says, another, this guy's scaly, dashes off into the woods and disappears. And the sage climbs down the tree, and the first words out of his mouth to Vishnu are, what took you so long? And Vishnu says, you called me from the middle of the Milky Way galaxy. It took me a long time to get here. If you had called me from inside of your own heart, your own mind, I would have been here instantaneously. And that's pretty much the end of the story there. You realize that the sage has a little bit of a enlightening experience, shall we say, and realizes that he's got to pull himself together and realize that the power is coming from within him by virtue of his connection with the sacred. So in this place, I wanted to do a little treatment, and here we go. There is only one spirit, one mind, one power, and that power is everywhere, all the time. That power is within each and every one listening, and each and every one listening, therefore, is guided, guarded, and protected, and has nothing to really worry about, because everything will be taken care of. Maybe not the way they think it will, but it will be taken care of. And the best and greatest good for them. You know that this is true, and how this will go to the law, knowing that it is done from beginningless time, and is done now. We say together,
So it is.
I dreamed of rain and the rains came, soft and easy, sweet and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, peace spread over the land. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, soft and easy, sweet and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of summer and the winds changed, the green was easy and the rivers ran clear. I dreamed of summer and the winds changed, and peace spread over the land. And the flowers bloom in the desert, and the air is fresh and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, the way was easy and the path was clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and peace spread over the land. And the guardian stars are shining, and the night is bright and clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, peace spread over the land. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, the sound was easy, the song was clear. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and peace spread over the land. And the ancient pain is forgotten, and the Father's debts are clear. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, soft and easy, sweet and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. And peace spread over the land. And peace spread over the land. And now it's time for the Reverend Michelle Wadleigh, author, center starter, all kinds of things. Great.
Baby maker.
Baby maker.
It's one of my
Right.
favorites.
Grandbaby taking care of her.
Thank you, Richard. God, I love that song every time you play it. So, John, I have to tell you, today is not the day I'm speaking on that book. I think that's the next visit.
Oh,
But I am speaking on that book, and I'm talking about the Ernest Holmes version, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So if you don't know about it, and many people don't because it's this book that you don't normally see on the shelves of any of the bookstores in CSL, and that is Your Invisible Power by Ernest Holmes. Not to be confused with Your Invisible Power by Genevieve Baron, who was a student, the only student of Thomas Troward, but a mystical book. Mystical, because when you read from it, he starts the book in almost instructional, like it's you and me, and then by the end of it, he is the I am. It is just, get a copy of it. I'm fortunate, I have one of the old copies, and it's beautiful. The newer copies aren't as impressive, but they're still wonderful. So, if you've been coming here for a while, and there's still some things in your life that haven't quite taken hold, if there are changes, and I'm not picking on CSL Princeton, I mean any science and mind community, anywhere, and you haven't, there are some things that seem elusive and they're a little bit out of your reach. Anybody? There's some things out of your reach? Right? Okay. So what I want to tell you, it's not the science of mind that's not working. It's not the presence of God that we're talking about, and you can call that God, love, energy, spirit, source, whatever your label is. We're not attached to how you label it. It's not that. It is you. It is me. That's the good news and the bad news. The bad news, it's not really bad news. It's only bad news if you're going to make yourself wrong, and I would completely encourage you not to do that. Don't make yourself wrong. The good news is, if it's you, you can do something about it. That's the good news. And so there are, and actually what I do want to reference today is this book, which is my book, which is not out yet. It's coming out in June, and it stands like nobody's watching. The Soul's Journey to Courage, Authenticity, and Self-Love. For me, this was a salve after doing so much forgiveness and shadow work for so many years. I needed myself to have something a little lighter, so that's what that book is written about, the habits of that. And I am a believer in changing habits. The changing habits, which just sounds so dull and it's not very mystical, and it's not like, it doesn't have any flair, but changing habits has been the thing that has helped me to embrace my life, changed the direction of my life, helped me grab hold of the source that was in me, but I wasn't tapping into simply because I wasn't in right thinking. I wasn't in right thinking. And again, that sounds so intellectual, but it's so much more than that. So there's a couple of habits I would like to discuss with you, but the entire purpose of changing these habits is so, it's good if you stop, drop, and treat when needed. That's good. That's a really good thing. If you use this incredible methodology, I call it a technology, applying the technology of prayer, spiritual mind treatment, in my books I call the mind shifts, is good. An elevated version of that, though, is doing it so much, so often, so completely with every breath that it changes who you are at a cellular level, at a consciousness level, so that you don't have to stop and treat for the parking space. So you don't have to treat to make sure that your plane makes the connection, which I just recently had that experience where I was practically running through the airport to catch a plane. You don't have to actually stop, drop, and treat for these things if you have developed the consciousness that enters a room with you. I usually I liken it to a hoop skirt, the old-fashioned hoop skirt, the big ones, right, like that. And so what happens is, with those hoop skirts, they enter the room before you do because they're so big. When you are applying the teaching in a way that is consistent, your consciousness precedes you before the issue shows up. To the point you might not even see it. It's interesting, and I could be in danger of feeling a little superior sometimes, and I don't really want to entertain that. And I'll explain that to you. What I mean is, when I watch people basically struggle over basic things, I kind of look at them like, why is that so hard? And then I realize, because they're not in an application of realizing that their personal power precedes them. They don't have a handle on it. And so I don't really entertain being superior, not really. I just more notice that life is easy if you and I, those of us in this room, if we are in application. To the degree, and I won't tell you the whole story because it's a little bit long, and I think I mentioned this before, the home that I'm currently living in was absolutely a demonstration, not because my husband and I treated to buy a house, but because we had been in the movement. We have been teaching. We had been running the center, that our consciousness was like embedded in the science of mind and how we believed in it. And so the short end of the story, because I don't want to tell you the whole thing, the short end of the story is that we demonstrated purchasing a home in Denville, New Jersey, in Morris County, which is a lovely place to live, for $200,000. And if you know anything about real estate, you know that that's a bit of a big deal. It was a miracle of sorts, a miracle. And so I credit that we live in consciousness, that we don't necessarily have to go and try to demonstrate it on a regular basis. Am I making my point?
Yes.
Very big difference. That's a very big difference. So one of the things I want to talk to you about, just a couple of habits that can interrupt you activating the law in your beingness, okay? Because we want to activate the law. And one of them, and I would be shocked if anybody here was not guilty of this to some degree, it's people-pleasing. Can I get an amen if you're a little bit of a people pleaser? Even a little bit, yeah. And it's nice because you want to be nice, right? Don't you want to be nice? And so what happens is you might not always challenge something when someone says something. And the way I describe them in my books is being addicted to being nice and addicted to being liked. The issue with these addictions and the whole people-pleasing is you lose you. You twist yourself into a pretzel for approval. Anybody do that? Anybody dumb down what you want to say? Because I have a client. I have a client that hired me. I'm working together with her. But she doesn't want to go deep. She wants to stay at the surface. She wants a new love in her life. She just wants to do it here. And so one day, before I recognized that she wanted to stay on the surface, I started to take her a little deeper, and she was not happy. And I got a follow-up phone call. So I got reminded, okay, she wants to stay here. And so I'm in conversation with her, and she's revealing things that really need to be looked at. but she won't look at them. So I admit to you, I'm not there to push. It's not my agenda. But for her to best benefit from me, I would encourage her to follow my lead, but oh well. But I can feel myself, I can feel that I want to speak these deeper truths to her, and really all she wants to hear is everything's going to be okay. And ultimately it will be. But even I, in my position, sometimes still find myself tempted to please. Tempted to please. But the issue is, and this is normal, by the way. It's normal. It's quite normal for us to be this way. But it becomes, this busyness becomes a saboteur of your expressing yourself. Now, I'm not suggesting that you should turn around, get on a soapbox, and what do you call it? Talk, about your high-end stuff, or your be that person. You're not trying to drive your agenda. But what I am saying is to be honest when asked. To say no when you want to say no, and yes only when you want to say yes. Anybody say yes when you really mean no? Okay, I gotta tell you, I am a true introvert. I am. I know it doesn't look like it, and people in my position are don't look like introverts, but many of us are. And so what happens after a gathering, especially a larger gathering, you won't find me going down and socializing very often in a group. You'll find me off in a corner, having a quiet cup of coffee, or leaving. I was just at a 3-day conference filled with a whole bunch of women. It was for building businesses. And the younger of the group, they were all about the celebrating and going out afterwards. And I used to have FOMO. You know what that is, FOMO? Fear of missing out. Until I realized that that's part of how I was denying myself. So I was showing up places and trying to socialize and having this, having a glass of wine with people. Well, I really wanted to go back to my room. And when I realized that and honored myself, man, I felt a lot better. So I became a friend to myself. Part of being in your authenticity is to serve your heart, your soul, your way of being, so you can be you and not forcing yourself to be something you're not. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So the second main thing that is distracting you, it has distracted me, and this is obvious, and yet it can be very elusive. You have likely not learned, and this is the one. The first one isn't as clear. This one it impacts you on a daily basis. And that is, you have very likely not learned to monitor your thinking in general. I want to let you sit with that for just a moment. The way I work with my students and my clients is I do everything I can, and I encourage them to pay attention to what they're paying attention to. When you're not paying attention to what you're paying attention to, the hypnosis of the world gets in. The hypnosis, now, and let me tell you something, you're at the mercy of this, because these companies, marketing companies, have spent billions of dollars in marketing to catch you. You know how long they have to leave a message? How long they have to leave an impression? 7 seconds. 7 seconds. They've learned how to get you to buy that Mercedes in 7 seconds. Okay, if you don't have the money, you're not worried about buying a Mercedes, very likely. But they do the same thing with the pharmaceutical stuff. So suddenly, they're catching your attention in 7 seconds, and you're saying, maybe I should call my doctor and ask them about. I've been on a soapbox about this, Rich knows, for as long as I've been in the pulpit. And I'm going to repeat it because I know y'all aren't all listening. You know how I know? Because I know my husband doesn't even listen. And he lives with me. Okay? Take note. You want to watch TV? Go ahead, enjoy. But don't watch it without the mute button. Mute the damn commercials. Mute the pharmaceutical commercials. Why? Because they're going to convince you that you have something or you're suffering from something that you don't have. And please don't come back at me and say, well, I don't really pay attention. Worse. And that's what I'm talking about when I say we all haven't necessarily learned how to monitor this thinking. Because when you're not paying attention is when the message gets in. It's when the message gets in. You're suffering and or you're not advancing in embracing your heart's desires comes down to you not disciplining your thinking, pondering, and attention. And I know, because I did that for longer than I want to admit. It's like I've been walking around preparing myself as a vessel for a long time. But it wasn't until I started really fussing about the details. Really, truly fussing. And when I say details, what I mean is, when I'm driving in my car, I am monitoring what I'm paying attention to. So I'm paying attention to what I'm paying attention to. Because I find, when I talk to people, that often when we're in our car, we think it's okay. We think God's not listening. We think that's like free time. It's not. They're at the risk of putting too much on you. There is no free time.
That's right.
If you're thinking, you're creating. If you're speaking, you're creating. It's just the way it is. So what we want to do is I would strongly encourage. I would encourage you go on a 3-month fast where you exit or eliminate any of the things that bite at the thinking confidence. Transform it into being affirming for yourself, being your own best friend, being your own best cheerleader, and go on a serious diet for like 3 months, maybe June, July, and August. And watch what happens if after 3 months you go on this mental diet. Watch what happens over time. You will lose your taste for certain things. You will lose your taste. I was just telling John that something really fun and kind of out of the blue just recently happened to me. And even my publisher said to me, he goes, I don't know how you keep making this thing work. So, you know, because I've spoken to you about it, I've written a few books. This is the third that's been published by Macmillan. And my one book has been published in a couple of languages. Well, now, out of the blue, Five Below, the store Five Below, they decided they're now in contract with my publisher because they wanted another book. And my publisher said, okay, you can have another book, but you have to pick one other from all our selections, one other. They have best-selling authors, they have Oprah Winfrey, they have all these people. You want to know what one other book they wanted? My shadow book. They ordered 30,000 copies of my shadow book. Yeah, thank you. I didn't pray for that. I didn't think about that. I didn't set it up. I didn't wish for it or want it. What I've been developing is the consciousness of prosperity and the consciousness of success and the consciousness of being an author that supports people, because it's not about me selling the books. It's about me getting the message out there. Mm-hmm. And when I watch the miraculous happens, it makes me want to get it out there even more. That's what comes from developing consciousness instead of wishing and wanting for a thing. Am I making my point?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You got to pay attention to what you pay attention to.
Yeah.
So, part 2 of this. You have a brain, but your brain is the mechanism. The brain is the receiver. The brain is not the holder of thoughts. It is the receiver through which your mind, and as we all know, mind is that which transcends who we are. It's the universal intelligence, the universal genius. But we happen to use the brain to access mind, right? Does that sound good to all y'all? Okay.
Yes.
So when and now with all the quantum theory, all the brain sciences, they talk about switching the neural pathways. And that's simply creating new habits, new thinking habits. So the brain is the receiver through which your mind connects to universal source. You must learn how to develop this muscle if you want to have the things that are on your vision board.
Mm-hmm.
You got to develop the muscle. And so you're walking down the street and some random thought comes. Pay attention to that random thought. Don't let it out. Like, don't let the horse out of the cage. You have two, not quite equal, but you have two very sacred thinking times a day. And I know I've repeated this, but I hope sometimes when I recouch it that you get it differently. One of the single most sacred time of your day for your thinking, for you being available to the glorious, dynamic, healing, manifesting machine is the 15 to 20 minutes before you go to sleep at night. Do you know that? 15 to 20 minutes is a time when you begin to relax. And when you relax, your brain goes into theta state. That theta state is very porous. So anything that you take into your sleeping is of critical influence. Because that's what sinks into the subconscious, and then that's what will be activated. So what I am strongly encouraging you, and I call this time sacred and holy. Because when you are in relationship, when you're in awareness, and you're in relationship with that which is, that moves through us, that's a sacred experience in my mind. And so when you take that 15 to 20 minutes, there are things you want to do and there's things you don't want to do. What do you think you don't want to do? Somebody answer.
Watch the news.
Watch the news. What else?
Ruminate on negative things.
Ruminate on negative things. Absolutely. What else?
Think about the things you did that didn't happen. You did
Right,
wrong.
right. Like get out of regret. Either regret of the day or regret of your life. All of those things do nothing to move the needle for you toward the life you want. Nothing. But this is what I know, because I know people. I know me. This is what's getting by you. You're tired, you just go to sleep. When I'm tired, I reach for what I want to listen to. I reach for a recording. I reach for chanting. I reach for maybe a YouTube on quantum whatever. I reach for my own meditations. I reach for a hypnosis tape. I do not allow that time to go by untapped. It is the single most important time of your day. But some of you haven't known it, or you're not paying attention, or I'll walk away and like, oh, she was good, but whatever. I'm giving you a freaking secret here.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't really a secret, but I'm giving you something that will absolutely transform your life if you take my word for it. If you take this idea, even if all you do is re-listen to recordings of old speakers from CSL Princeton,
Mm-hmm.
if that's what you take into your sleep, and you take this practice and you attach it to that 3-month fast I'm suggesting you might want to consider, there's no way you cannot transform your life.
Oh.
You cannot And that's actually what I finally figured out. I wasn't disciplined. I love the old-fashioned term, I had stinking thinking, right? Remember that old term?
Yeah.
I had lots of stinking thinking, and a little bit of drama, and oh, woe is me. And I'm not trying to give any of you a hard time. I'm not. But you're better than that. This teaching is better than that. We're more than that. And it's about time we embrace the full mechanism. You got to get in charge of your thinking. So, here are some simple steps. Pay attention. Come on. To what you're paying attention to. Let's say that again. Pay attention to what you're paying attention to.
Yes.
Protect that 15 to 20 minutes before you go to sleep. Okay? Please. Please. And actually, before, there's just a couple more things, but I am starting a beta class. A very simple beta class based on habits. No processing, none of the deeper stuff that maybe I'm known for. It will be 10 weeks of changing thinking habits. If you want to be part of the beta class, I'm doing it for a song of a price. You email me at michelle@michellewadleigh.com. Just put in the subject line, beta class. And I will send you information on it, okay? Because I am convinced if you and I can just grab hold of these habits, our lives must transform. Must transform. So, pay attention to what you are saying to yourself. How do you speak about yourself to others? When someone compliments you, do you say thank you or do you cringe? Right? I know that some of you just cringe. When you have time to ponder, are you kind to yourself? Louise Hay was big on this, and so was Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes says never think about against yourself. And if you don't know him, what's his name? Christian Larson. He wrote this beautiful piece on the Optimist Creed. I didn't bring it with me, I wasn't thinking about it. Optimist Creed. And that entire creed is about being kind to yourself. I encourage you to look it up. I really do. I have it printed out, I have it up as a reminder. So pay attention to what you're paying attention to. Protect that 15 to 20 minutes before you sleep. Pay attention to what you are saying to yourself and about yourself to others. And, not for nothing, toot your own horn. Why not? Mm-hmm. You're a rock star. Toot your own horn, for Pete's sake. Mm-hmm. Number 5, and this is probably the difficult one. Maybe I should have made this first. Stop judging yourself. Stop judging others too, but stop judging yourself. Stop. Number 6. In every single way possible, become your own best friend. When you wake up in the morning and you, I didn't finish telling you this. The second most valuable time of mine is that 15 to 20 minutes after you wake up also. I neglected to say that. So it's the 15 to 20 before you go to sleep and the 15 to 20 once you wake up. What are you doing?
I'm just.
Okay. I thought you were trying to get my attention.
No, I'm expressing what you're saying.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
In myself.
Got it. Yes, so those are 2 times the monitor. And when you wake up, if you're going to be your own best friend, whatever you think about when you first wake up, and a simple thing to do, I'll give you a simple way to use this, is that when you go to sleep at night, take out a journal, and I did this before it was popular, because I was in a dark place, marriage broke up, new child, starting a church, nobody said to me it might not be a good idea, and I went to sleep every night, and I would write down anything I could that worked on that day. And it might be I got out of bed on my own. It might be as simple as that. because sometimes that's all I had. I really needed to shift my thinking. And then I'd wake up in the morning and I'd read it before I got out of bed. So I'd go to sleep on the count of gratitude, and I'd wake up. These are old things, you've heard them, but if you're not utilizing them, okay? So, and then when you look in the mirror in the morning, you go to brush your teeth or whatever, please, dear God, look in the mirror and smile at that stunning face. Smile at that face and say, man, I love you. Look at somebody right now, just to help them. Look at somebody right now and say, I love you. Come on, over here, too, over here. Go ahead, find somebody, say I love you.
I love you, Rich.
Feel that energy? Can you feel that energy right away? Such a simple thing. Yes, that was to another person. Do it for you. Do it for you, please. So some of these things that I'm suggesting are half of the things. I offer 12 paths in the book about the habits that you would change, which is the habits that I'm going to do in that beta course will be a little bit different, but simple. It's going to be a daytime thing. It's going to be 1 hour down and dirty, as I like to call it. So again, just email me if you want to be part of it. Science of Mind is solid. It's solid. You have to figure some things out with it. But Science of Mind's got solid, metaphysical, powerful principles. And be honest with yourself. If your life hasn't changed, don't look for something or someone outside of yourself to blame it on. Just take gentle responsibility, not play. Just be willing to look inside and go, okay, what are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about this? Take ownership. The power, God, love, source is solid. You and I have to work on our receptivity, though. That's how I bought that house for that little bit of money. I was working on my receptivity and my consciousness. That's how that book got sold, because I could not have seen that coming. Could not. That was nowhere. Even my publisher said, I don't know, right? Work on the consciousness. Are you willing to be a champion for yourself? And I'm asking that question. Are you willing to be a champion for yourself?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Out loud. Yes?
Yes.
And these nothing I've said is a mystery, is it?
No.
Nothing is complicated. Nothing you've heard it all. Except what I know. Because I know people, you're not practicing. So go home and practice. When you walk out of here, even as you're listening to me right now, what are you thinking? Are you beating yourself up a little bit because you haven't done it? Stop that. Stop it. Because every moment, every thought, every assessment we make must be for you, in your favor, on your behalf. Because I got news for you, that's what God does. God's busy saying yes. So when your yes and God's yes comes together, you have a perfect formula. Yes?
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Karen?
Did you call me Karen?
No.
Karen. Hoffman.
Oh,
Yeah,
Gary.
do the offering. You got to do the offering. It's okay.
So, the riches, wonderful. It's one of the things that I talk about, going back constantly to the principles, to the basics of this teaching. And in that book, Your Invisible Power, Ernest Holmes says really clearly, it's great to understand these principles, but you've got to use them. And so thank you, Michelle, for giving us this reminder. And it's so simple.
Yes.
And the question is, do we do it?
That's why people miss it. Because it seems so simple.
It feels like, oh, I'm not a beginner. I've studied this for blah, blah years. And
That's what kept me at bay. That's what kept it at bay.
And Michelle is a perfect example with her book, what's going on with the books. Just stuff showing up, real success showing up. And that's what's available for all of us.
Yes.
And so this is that time where we talk about the abundance of our center, CSL Princeton. Look at what we have done. Look at the riches that we have. Reverend Karen left us 2.5 years ago. We are still meeting every Sunday and having wonderful talks from people like Reverend Michelle, from Reverend Karen, from so many people. In order to continue this, we need financial support,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And you know the best way to get the financial support? If each one of us do our inner work on what abundance really means and how to apply it in our lives.
Yes.
Because I can guarantee you, if you do it in your life, everywhere you go, that's what you're going to experience. The way for this center is to grow is for each one of us to be growing. So right now is the time when you have a chance to express that in supporting us to keep this center going. So let me pass this around. Yeah, and as usual, another thing like Michelle was talking about, we take these things for granted because they're so simple. We have that little ritual of taking that basket, even if you're not putting anything in it. And for a moment, your abundance, the abundance of who you are, share it with everyone else. Share it with the center. Just take that minute. Yes, it's a ritual. Do we like rituals? Some of us like it more than others. But it is really something that you can participate in.
Rituals are powerful, can be very
When they're
powerful
conscious.
rituals and important.
Yes, when they're conscious.
Yes.
Right. Again, it goes back to what Ernest Holmes was saying that I was saying. It's great to understand these things. I love, when I got involved in this teaching, I loved it how deep it went, if you went deep with it. And that's great. The question is, are you actually using it? And this funny thing is, when I was reading that book, Your Invisible Power, my first question was, what do you mean using it? Well, what am I supposed to do? You're not saying, we all know how to do treatment. Maybe you don't know the 5 steps. Maybe you don't know all the details. We all know the basics of it. Do you do it?
Yeah.
That's the question. Right? All of these things that Michelle was talking about, the 15 minutes before you go to sleep in 15 minutes, do you do it? That's all.
One more. Thank you.
Thank you. So, with that in mind, and holding the abundance of the gift that Michelle Wadleigh gave us today, this is the truth that I know for CSL Princeton. There is one infinite abundance. It has no beginning, it has no end, not in space, not in time. There is no limit to it. And it is expressed fully through each one who participates at CSL Princeton. And so I know and declare that each one participating here is experiencing an expansion of abundance. And this center, CSL Princeton, is knowing that abundance in, as, and through each one who participates in any way. And so this is an abundant center, abundance of wisdom, abundance of love, abundance of finance in every way. And so I know that there is a living blessing present for each one who participates in any way, each one who is watching the videos in the future. Living blessing, seen at every part of each one's life. I know this to be so. I'm grateful that I know this truth, and I release it to that which says yes.
Yes.
Yes. And knowing this to be so, together we say, and so it is.
So it is.
From the dark end of the street to the bright side of the road, you can dance with us. We'll be lovers once again on the bright side of the road. Little darling, come with me. Yes, and help me share my load. From the dark end of the street to the bright side of the road. Into this life we're born. Baby, sometimes we don't know why. And time seems to go by so fast, in the twinkling of an eye. Let's enjoy it while we can, and help me share my load. From the dark end of the street to the bright side of the road.